Hi everyone, I'm Mariana. This is part 8 of my California to Alaska adventure, and this is the very last part. I am right now in Idaho. I haven't really seen anything here. It's just a small part of the state I'm actually driving through, and I just woke up, so we are going to head home. It looks like I'm going to go through a very small part of Utah. It's just the little corner, and then I'm going to just drive through Nevada and then California and then end up in Madera where I live. And I don't really think there will be many interesting things in this video because there are no national parks anywhere near. I don't want to spend the time to go to Utah. I just kind of want to make it home. It's been almost 5 weeks now. I'd rather come back to Utah another time. What I'm going to do at the end of this video, I will give you my post thoughts on this trip and let you know how I think I did, what I did right, what I would do differently. So that is basically it. And right now we are going to jump in the truck and start driving. Today is July 9th, Tuesday, and I think this will be the last night of this adventure. I am actually a little bit early. I thought I was going to be home by July 15th or maybe the 12th, but I didn't think I would be home by the 10th. And 2 days later, this would have been exactly 5 weeks. So right now I just took a shower. My hair is still wet. I don't even feel like turning on the generator to dry it. I am so exhausted. I was going to make a campfire and I even saved a special piece of steak, and I'm just so exhausted. This morning I left Idaho and then drove through a small part of Utah, and I stopped at a Walmart to get an oil change. This is my third oil change. I have driven so far about 8,000 miles on this trip, so it was time. And then I ended up in Nevada, and most of Nevada I was looking for a place to camp, and honestly it was very frustrating. There was just absolutely nowhere. And finally I found this spot right here next to the train tracks. It's a nice big area. I have the dogs on a leash right now, but I will probably just let them go in a little bit so they could run around, and then I'll feed them and then we're going to sleep. So this is kind of bittersweet. I'm sad that it's over, but I had such a great trip that it's fine. It's been almost 5 weeks. I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of camping that I did, so it's okay. Things usually come to an end at one point. So I decided that I will just make it home tonight. I mean, I am 500 miles away, and that's far, and it will probably take me 10 hours, maybe even 11. I have done it before, but I was thinking that about 150 miles from my house, it's going to be Sacramento. And even before that, it will be just houses and the freeway, and there won't be any available campsites or anywhere to pull off anyways. I would actually have to make a detour and go into the mountains, and so might as well just make it home. It's still early in the day. It's about 8:30 right now, so I think I'll be home by 6 or even 7. It will be fine. It will be worth it, I think. I guess I'm just ready to go home, and it was a great trip, and I have a long day ahead of me, but I've done it so many times, so I'm sure it will be fine. That night I got home at 7:45 in the evening, and I drove 500 miles pulling this trailer. It took me 10 hours. That was about 3-4 months ago. This is now November, and I have gone camping a lot of times since then. Even deer season came, and I've been up in the mountains for 2.5 months total, every weekend in my trailer. I did some tent camping too. During this whole time, I had a lot of time to think about, just sort of let everything sink in about this trip, but also to think about what I would do differently next time and what are the things that I did right. So first of all, mileage. I have driven a total of 8,714 miles. So for one, that was a surprise. The money I spent on gas was $2,302. and I have to say that was shocking. I did a video in the very beginning about how I prepared for this trip, and I would say overall, I think I did a pretty good job with everything. For one, I didn't give myself strict deadlines for anything. I didn't make reservations for any campsites or anything I wanted to see. And I think I did a good job with that. The way I handled the money, I think I did a good job. I basically have two bank accounts, one where I have almost all my money, and then I have a secondary one. That is where I actually put the money I saved for this trip. And then besides that, I have a few credit cards, and I also took $300 cash with me. I also stocked up my trailer with food, probably enough for 2-3 months. I had a lot of boxed and packaged and canned food. I have a really big refrigerator. I think it's called a full-size refrigerator for an RV, and a pretty big freezer. So I had all these meat frozen. I actually brought home back one piece. I never even had to buy anything. And all the food that I had, I think I stopped at a grocery store maybe twice, 3 times, just to pick up a few things. Now, what I would do differently, basically one thing. I would only take one dog, maybe 2, definitely not 3. 3 dogs were too many. Towards the end, they became a little territorial. They started barking, not just the one dog, but at the end, it was 2, 3 were barking at anything. But it was just too much work with them. For example, in national parks, I couldn't take them all. It's just too many dogs to walk. Even the dog-friendly parks, most of them, you were able to take one dog on a leash. I could have taken maybe even 2, but 3, there's just absolutely no room on the sidewalk. It's too many dogs to handle, too much weight. So I would definitely not do that again. Another thing I would do differently if I made this trip again would be to slow down. And I don't mean the speed. I kept it under the speed limit, but this is about how many miles I drove every day. Getting to Alaska was sort of a rush. I had to get there by a certain time because bear season was closing. So I was planning on driving 300 miles, but coming back, I was going to slow down, and I just really couldn't. I think driving 150 miles a day is a lot better. Now you want to spend the rest of your time exploring things. I would probably research a little bit more the areas I'm going through, but no matter what, I would just spend a lot less time driving and spend a lot longer for the trip. I actually came home in 5 weeks, and I thought it would be maybe 6 weeks, so that's like 5-7 days early. Another thing I would do is kind of has something to do with this is I would spend a lot more time in the national parks. I would spend days and days in the future, and that would be possible if I only had one dog or maybe 2 dogs. I could even stay at the campsites inside the national park, and I would have no problems, and I could just really relax. Now, it would be nice if my mom could go with me from Hungary. Since she's retired, she could come, and I know she would like the trailer. I don't know how her passport and everything would work out with Canada, so we would maybe not go to Canada. I would still go by myself because I had a great time. I'm glad I did it. It cost a lot of money, but it still beats staying at home and just not really do a whole lot. So this is basically it. This is the end of my California, Alaska journey. And these are all the advice I can give you if you're ever making a trip like this. If you have any questions, please let me know. Leave me a comment. I will answer it. If you have any advice for me, knowing the things I've done, some of the things I messed up, let me know what you would do if you were in my situation next time, because like I said, summertime is coming up. I definitely want to do a good job. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.